Hi chaps, Charlie Tango 1 here. Got another exciting video for you. It's just really, you can call it a review or follow-up of this little stove here, the little Svea 123, and also the, oh there we go, the 8R Swedish stove. Although this is the Russian copy, this one. Now, I was looking at a lot of people saying, oh, that this silent stove burner, silent flame burner. Instead of with both of these, you know, they roar like a good one, which I don't mind. But I was looking to see how much these silent burners are, and there is one, the one I showed you the other day, this one here, this one here, that was got there made in Birmingham, English make, but I got in touch, I emailed the chap and said to him, look, I said, can you tell me where I can get hold of one of these silent stove burners for the Svea 123 or the 8R stove, which apparently are both the same, which he agreed. He said, well, offhand no. Well, I was hunting around, but he replied back to me and said, and explained a few facts that I don't think a lot of us really know or understand. So this really is, I'm going to try and make it a quick video if I can, but this is mainly, I think, to try and enlighten some people like myself that didn't know. Now I did hunt around online, excuse me, I say I've still got this strep throat, but this is it's only, I think yesterday I've done a video, so it's not going to go just like that. I was hunting around online looking for these, and yes, you can find them. I think there's some chap in Korea making them, and I believe there's a chap just starting up somewhere over here, or maybe in the States. I think there is one. Excuse me, that are selling them. And when you look at that little thing and think of how much work has gone into it, well, you can see, you know, I mean, there's rates of work gone into it, and it's probably pressed out. These are all drilled, you know. So yeah, and that only cost me £3, and I think there's a bit of packaging on that as well, something like £1 or something. But anywhere else, they want about £34 for them, which is a lot of money for what it is. But the ones that apparently fit these two types of stove look a bit like this. I think they got 3 legs on, and there's your holes. I know it's a rough sketch, but that's roughly what they look like. And those 3 legs, when you take the top spreader off, you take this off, and them legs will sit inside the flame spreader there. And which I do, I'll see in a moment. But this is not for the Optimus or the Svea. This is for the other one. Hang on, Primus. It's a different type of stove altogether. Although it's probably got a flame spreader like that, well, similar to that, but this sits inside it. But as you can see, this one here, let's just get it up so that you can see. This one here, I've got to get this right if it'll stay there. It's just balancing on the top there. Can you see? I mean, it falls, that's how, the circumference of it, on that, there, on the spreader there, the circumference is exactly the same size as that one, so it's literally sitting right on the top, perched on top there, balancing. Now I did see one chap who'd done a video, and what he'd done is somehow he'd wired this on to the bottom part of the flame spreader. He screwed it off, turned it upside down. You could see a little bit of wire going through where you've got about 4 slots in that flame spreader, and he's gone in one and come out the other. But I don't know how he's actually attached it to this. But I thought, what was he trying to show us there? And then I saw it. I thought, oh, it's to hold that on. I thought, well, it's a little bit dodgy, really. You know, you're stabbing in the dark on your health and safety bit there. Although I'm not health and safety conscious, because I don't know what you think about that. It's gone absolutely stupid. But you've got to think about your safety, and you know, is it a safe thing to do? Well, personally speaking, myself, I don't think it is a safe thing to do, because these ones here, and I'll now go back to the chap that sent me the email in relation to these, and he said if you think about it, and you do have to think about it. I'll just drop this down a bit so we can see the stove. You think about it. This heating is made of brass, this dish here. Very thin, as you know, bends quite easily. Now, a good half of this flame spreader, plus the bit on top there, heats up very rapidly. Now, when that heats up, obviously that's going to heat up the stem and everything else and start it to vaporise and what have you. That heat will then travel through the tube which goes to the tank, as you know. Now that tank starts to get under a bit of pressure with the vaporisation, so that's what makes this roar like a good one. Now if you put something like this, or more really like this, in the top of that, you've got to bear in mind the heat dispersion. Now heat will come back and goes back. That's why we've got this heat sink plate here, to protect the tank so it doesn't get too hot. And the other safety factor is this relief valve on the tank. Most people have their stove facing them. Well, really, you should have that stove away from you like that. So if that tank does blow, it's going to go, and there's going to be a shooting flame up there, and I mean a shooting flame. So something's done it right there. Which is anyway. So that's what happened there. I'll get that right in a minute, because I don't like that. It's not right. So that's why you should never have that facing you, because it will hit you straight in the face, burn your eyebrows, your eyelids, your hair probably. It might even blind you. So, you know, just make a point of keeping that stove with that valve away from you. Now, going back to what this chap said, this heat, when it gets up hot here, if you've got one of these, on the top of that, it's going to heat up all that. Now, bearing in mind that heat, because this is only thin metal, it's very hard to explain in layman's terms. I'm trying to make it simple. It soon disperses. Even though the stove is going, the heat still disperses out the way. It's carried on over through these rods and this heat shield, and a bit of it is in the tank. So in general, when you're outside, the air, it's going to maintain it at the temperature it should run at. But you've got something like that, a thick flame spreader on there. Now all that has got to heat up that bit of metal. And that metal, it's like a cast iron, I think, in it. It's casted. That's what it is. It's not a bit of pressed steel like that. It's casted, so it will hold a lot more heat. Now, where's that heat going to go? It's not being able to disperse quick enough from the stove. So what happens is it's going to start heating this cup up even more than what the flame spreader would do. Even if you had a pot on there on this as it is, you still won't get any more heat generated by this method. But with that flame spreader modification on it, that's going to get a lot hotter, believe you me. That heat has got dispersed somewhere, and it's going to start coming back through here. Because it's touching this, it's going to spread. You can hold a piece of rod. You can hold a piece of rod. You're heating it up with a blowtorch, aren't you? You're thinking, oh, that's getting warm. So you slide your hand down a bit further. Oh, it's still getting warm. Oh, down goes your hand a bit further. That's heating up and heating up. Until in the end, you're getting hold of a pair of pliers or something, and you're holding it like that with a pair of pliers, because this is now too hot. So the heat has spread from here right the way down to here. You're now holding it with a pair of pliers. Now, these pair of pliers take quite a bit before they get heated up. Well, you could say that pair of pliers would be like the tank. Times that heat's travelled all the way through that tube, it's now got to the tank. So this is the tank. Where's the heat going to go from that tank? It's going to heat that up. It's going to blow that valve straight away, assuming that valve is working correctly. Now, unless you had that valve tested, and to my knowledge, there is not a piece of equipment out there to test that valve of what pressure it blows off at. So I might be trying to do something there to test this valve to find out what the pressure release is. And the only other way, if that didn't release, that pressure release valve, if that didn't actually blow, where else is it going to go? It's got nowhere else to go except blow the tank. And the tank, most of them are soldered. There's a joint around here, and that's soldered. That's going to be where it goes, because that will be the weakest point if this valve doesn't release the pressure. So that's just a word of warning on if you're thinking about getting one of these. So I mean, all it's about is, oh, it roars, it makes a lot of noise, blah blah blah. Let's bring this back up again now, because I'm kinking my head here. It makes a lot of noise. I thought, so what? Yeah, well, I don't want to wake my mate up in his tent. He likes to lay in the morning. I thought, you're out camping, mate. What else are you going to do? So what? So you woke up. Oh, he's got his stove going. He's brewing up a cup of tea, turn over and go back to kit. It's not the end of the world, you know what I mean? Just for the sake of something roaring. You know what I mean? It's ridiculous. It was designed to run that way efficiently, so leave it as it is. So I'm not going to bother getting any of these. I was contemplating getting one, and then, as I say, when this chap emailed me back and he explained, and he went in depth, he took the time out to write a nice big note to me, explaining all the ifs and buts and hoo-ahs about it. And I thought, well, as you've explained it there, mate, it sounds like that could be pretty dangerous, so I'm not going to bother. So then all I'm saying is, like I have it now, that's how you want to cook it. So that valve is away from you, not facing towards you, or you have it that way if you want, don't really matter. But you want the valve away from your face, and you should be alright. But the only other safety warning, and there's a lot of them doing it, excuse me, is this valve, this cap is loose, right there. I only just nip it gently, but when I turn this stove out, which again, as we all should know, is you turn it clockwise to turn it off. The other way, all the other way, will bring the pricker to clear the needle up. That's all that does. It does not shut off the valve. So what happens then is they think they've shut it off, but they haven't. And I've seen them where they crack it open. They turn it to the right, so obviously they're using the needle jet cleaner as a means of shutting off the vapour to the flame spreader, and they're thinking it's turning it off. And then they leave this. They don't crack this cap open to release the pressure from the tank. So you've not neutralised the pressure from there to there when you go to start it up. The idea is you neutralise it so that there is no pressure, so it's equal. Now, when it's cooled down, once you've turned it off, you can just nip that up. That's fine. But you've got to wait for it to cool down, because if you don't, the heat what's in the tank will build that pressure up again. So when it's cold, just nip that up, then put it away. Now, the other part of that, which I think I nearly forgot, was, oh yeah, they take it out, open it up. Oh right, I'm going to start that up. The first thing they do is grab hold of the key and crack the valve. Oh, I'm just going to crack the valve to let some fluid in the primer bowl. I thought, well, you won't get any fluid coming out of there. The only way you'll get fluid come out of that jet hole is if you haven't released the pressure from the tank. So that tells me he's put that away with the tank under pressure. So yes, it will push fluid in there from the tank, but it's not the right way to do it. It's still in, and then they're wondering, when he lit it, it flared up like a good one. And I thought, well yeah, of course it would, because you've got all that fluid that's come out of there, and now what it's trying to do is it's trying to equalise the pressure into the tank. So you've got pressure in that tank which is forcing more fluid out because he's lit that. So it begs belief sometimes when some people don't think about what they're doing. Before they know where they are, they've burnt their hair off or something. Anyway, that's my little moan, if you like, or warning of that's what will happen if you don't light these correctly. So don't bother with one of them. I mean, all right, I know the chap, he's making money out of that, £34 a time, and people are buying them. I'm thinking, but where's the comeback? Where's the comeback if when you have an accident? There ain't none. You do it at your own risk, mate. Do it at your own risk. So that's how I feel about that. It's not a very good safety factor, I don't think. So all that left remains is something I wanted to. Oh yes, these here, nice bit of. This is a nice bit of grey leather. This beautiful stuff, suede side and flesh side. And what I'm thinking of doing is I sent my mate Robert Bushcraft. I keep forgetting Bushcraft, something like that. Robert in America. Hiya, mate. I sent him what it is termed as, I term it as a firelighter spot on, which us Scottish people have to hold our money in, but a lot of them use a bushcraft as a little spot on for holding all your firelighting equipment in, you know, your Kindle and cotton wool buds and all that stuff. Like, anyway, I've sent him one of them, like, because I think I showed it up on another video somewhere, and he did comment on it, like, and said, "Oh, I do like those though." He said, "Well, I do make them, but for some unknown reason, people over here, they just don't want to buy them, like, you know." So, you know, and I've got a lot of this soft leather, and this is I've got a hide of this, and I've only made one item out of it. I've got some black, same stuff. Now this is made of the black. This is the black stuff I made. That one, brown one, or whatever you want. But I'm going to make one very similar to the Sporran, but I'm going to use all grade leather in it this time. This stuff. So, as I say, I've got a hide of it. If you are interested, just private message me or something like that. But the one I sent my friend Robert in the States. He if he has a look, you'll see over there. There's someone over there, and I'm not sure. BM Survival or something or other. He makes them. He makes them virtually the same as the ones I make. Well, what I used to make. But the money he wanted for them, I couldn't believe it. I converted the dollars to pounds, shillings, and pence over in here in England, and it works out about, I don't know, I think it was about £85 or something like that. I thought, oh, it's a bit expensive, isn't it? I mean, when I made one of these up, I mean, what I consider to be a reasonable price, what I consider to be reasonable would be about, what, £30? That's a reasonable price, you know. I mean, you can't always get your time back, your money, so make sure you get your money back to cover the cost of your materials. I mean, there's something here I made here. Excuse me walking away. Now I made this just out of interest. I thought, oh, I might be able to sell some of these, like. Now I made that cartridge belt. Alright, now you can see how thick that leather is. Look, I mean, that's none of your tat and smut, that's all good gear, that is. Nice decent buckle on there, and just for the crack I decided, oh, I'll just put a bit of put a bit of tooling on it. So that's what I've done. So I made that a lot amongst many others. I made a black one as well, but when I looked online over here, they want what was it, 75 or something odd pounds for a cartridge belt. Well, the top whack I'd ask for that would be about £40, the top mark. You know, yeah, it took me a while to make it, but it takes you just as long to cut some of the stuff out, and it's just waist size, and I thought, well, I'll just do one my waist size and see how we go from there. But I don't know, it appears people, oh yeah, that's nice, but they don't want to pay the money for it. Now I'm charging silly money, well, they go down the road and pay 80 quid for something that's absolutely a load of crap, put it bluntly, you know. And when I pair it up with against the finished product of mine, I'm sorry, sir, I'll blow my own trumpet, mine comes out far superior to some of this stuff that again, we're going to Chinese rubbish. Some of it comes from China. It's rubbish, but a lot of stuff out of China is good, so you can't knock it all. So anyway, I've done it again, haven't I? I've started rabbiting, haven't I? These stoves, there you go, just bear that in mind. And I'm going to make some of these little kindling pouches, or possibles bag, whatever you want to call them. Have a bit of draw cord as well. I'll probably use leather rather than paracord. I mean, might as well keep it within keeping, ain't you? But as I say, they're only going to be silly money, so if there is anyone out there interested, it gives me something to do in this shed here. Otherwise I'm sitting here talking to you. Don't get me wrong, I don't mind doing, but I like to video some of the work, but as I said in the other video, I really want to get out camping this year. I couldn't, there's too much holding me back last year, there's too much going on, I never got a chance to get out, so I'm hoping to get out. And it'd be nice to do some camping videos instead of little bit things that I potter about with. You know, I mean, I do potter about, I look for something to potter around with, and away I go. I get onto those little stoves, I started pottering around with them, and then I thought, well, once I got it to what I wanted, which was making one for this little thing, which I've now done, so end of, that's that done. So where do I go from there? So that's all remains is, if you are interested, put a comment, remarks, criticisms, or whatever you want, just jot it down. As I said, I hope I can help someone out there, give someone some information that might help them, because they don't know, they're not sure, or they want a second opinion. And if it does help them, well, it's all well and good. as I said, there's always someone around the corner that knows more than what you do. And I'm a great believer in you never stop learning. There's always something there you don't know. So, as I say, comments, remarks, etc. Don't do the down thumb. I'd rather you said, well, what a load of pants, mate, I don't believe in that, or whatever. At least I know, and I can assess it accordingly. But I don't go saying these things, to put it bluntly, to bullshit you. You know, if it's fact, it's fact, and that's it. I'm not going to stand here and tell you a load of lies about something like as important as safety, because it's not worth it. It's all going to come back on you. So why lie about it? Just tell the people what they really need to know. That's enough rabbiting. I'll catch you all later. Cheerio.